I've been teaching outdoor classes for about the last 10 or 12 years. I like the sense of calmness and serenity that I get from being outside and hearing the softness of the wind, the sound of birds, the changes in the seasons. I think that's something that children need generally, particularly children who live in an urban context. A lot of our kids live in tall buildings and condominiums downtown and might not have as many opportunities to get out and enjoy nature. So I look for opportunities in the curriculum that allowed me to combine my own joy and spread it to children in a way that also meets their educational goals. I think I would be remiss in my responsibilities to not take advantage of this opportunity.
On one level, it's as simple as, I think, just stepping outside. It just makes you feel better. It harnesses energy of kids, it makes them feel good. It's just a whole learning environment, a whole space that's available to us. And if we just learn within these four walls, I think we're limiting ourselves.
Today we had a scavenger hunt, and we usually find eggs, bird nests, and cool stuff like that.
It's actually better than inside because you get more fresh air, but if you stay inside for like the whole entire day, you won't get much exercise or anything like that.
You don't have to be inside in a smaller space. You can be in the world around you.
It is a process throughout the year, teaching children how to do outdoor inquiry. At the beginning of the year, I took it a little bit slower. We would play outside almost daily, but for real inquiry walks, roughly once a week. And I've been slowly and incrementally increasing that throughout the year as I find more reasons and opportunity to go outside. I find that over-planning for walks outside actually works against you. Now, you can't make your entire plan around what will we find today, but you have to allow yourself to be flexible enough to listen to the children and their insights about what they find, because sometimes they find amazing things that I just wouldn't have noticed.
It's probably scary for some people to just go outside and lose the control that you naturally have inside, but that's a very solvable risk. I think maybe a slightly greater risk that you have to be prepared for, especially if you go further afield, is if a kid gets hurt. Something happens and you're half a kilometer away from the school, and suddenly you're the doctor and the nurse and whatever is required in that moment. So I think that would be a risk. I also think it's solvable, but I think you have to sort of plan for that. Going out into your schoolyard, I really think it's minimal risk.
Parents have just loved the fact that I take the kids out weekly for these nature walks that I've been doing. And so if you can get that buy-in, you get a lot of people who want to come with you. Typically we'll send an email newsletter home talking about what we're going to do and what the plan is for this week, and invite them to come along.
I think there is definitely a whole cadre of kinesthetic learners, but I find it connects to more than just that intelligence. It's just like there's something about breathing fresh air, thinking more expansively. Being in a more expansive space makes you think more expansively. I think it connects us to our natural world. I think there's a lot of different kinds of learners who benefit from going outside.
Since I've been working outdoors a lot, there's so many opportunities to do things, particularly around measurement or number sense from the outside.
Making maps outside, like basically treasure maps.
There's a start you could pick and a finish, and you have to do how much steps it would take to that treasure, and then to finish, you do the treasure to the finish. And then you trade your maps with somebody else, and they have to try and find your treasure.
The debrief is really important to try to work in the schedule as often as possible, because it allows the kids to consolidate what they've seen. Sometimes they share maybe something that one or two of them saw together but haven't had a chance to share with the group, or it might relate to something that somebody else said. And also I find that it leads to excellent opportunities for both writing and art. It's a challenge sometimes to convince children in grade 1 and 2 to write, say, a letter or a story about something, because pulling something out of thin air can be a challenge for some kids. But if we're writing about an experience that was motivating, that they just had recently, they just love it and they can't stop writing. So I find if you do a natural inquiry walk, then shortly thereafter a debrief, and then maybe in the afternoon after a walk, then we write a letter to somebody about what we experienced and what we saw. Those are very powerful and frankly very efficient ways to get writing out of children, and it's usually much better than if it's something from imagination or from a story we read.